A biblical perspective on life, culture and current events. This is 2020 on Vision.
Foster parents have provided stability, safety, and often a place of sanctuary for children for generations in Australia. But there's an ongoing challenge and need for more people to step up and become foster parents. Mary Blake is the Executive Officer at Fostering Hope and is also driving an initiative called Foster Care Sunday. And she joins us on 2020 today to tell us all about both. Mary, welcome.
Thanks, Andrew.
Mary, firstly, tell us what Fostering Hope does and how you do it.
Yeah, so Fostering Hope is a Christian organisation. We are there mainly to raise awareness about the need for more carers in our community across Australia, then hopefully be able to find carers, support carers on the journey, and also encourage everyone, all your listeners, to think if they know a child growing up in care, or they know a fostering family, or they know a family that's struggling, what's God asking them to do? How can they respond to those needs?
Yeah, and how many years has Fostering Hope been running for now?
We established in 2018, so a few years now.
Fairly fresh, and you're the Executive Officer. And why did Mary Blake get involved in Fostering Hope?
So Fostering Hope began out of my foster care journey. So I became a carer mainly because I wanted to do overseas development work, and that didn't look like it was going to happen. And I looked around and thought, well, what's something I can do here that's living out my faith? I began fostering and then realised it was actually living out my faith in every single way. It was putting the lonely in families. It was being a shining light in the community God had placed me. And it was this opportunity to show love not only to a child but to a birth family and to a really broken child protection system that we have in Australia. And it just leads to so many opportunities for people to ask, oh, why do you foster? And you get to talk about your faith and what it means to you and what it means to all the children in your home.
Yeah, so you see fostering as a real opportunity for Christians to live out their faith and obviously have a really positive influence on the lives of not just individual children, but sometimes whole families that you're just helping on their journey of life. Yeah,
it's an incredible opportunity to live out your faith. And yeah, like you said, it's not just, it is about the child that God places in your home. And we talk a lot about, when we're talking to people who are thinking about fostering, that fostering is being a family for a child for as long as they need them. It's not getting a child for your family. It very much is serving that child and that family and caring for them. And it's quite different to a lot of other mission or work that we do where you go out and work. It's bringing that brokenness into your home. And so it's powerful and it is really hard in lots of ways, but it's also, brings lots of joy and incredible opportunities to show God's love.
Yeah, I bet it does. And tell me, what would some of the biggest challenges be if someone decides just to be a foster carer, allows their home to be used to provide foster care? What are some of the more typical challenges that they may face?
So the challenges in the trauma behaviours of the children that enter our home. So they're only removed because there is brokenness. So that's where organisations like Fostering Hope and the other organisations part of the national network are there to support carers understand and have the resources to be able to support those children. And probably one of the biggest challenges is knowing that you're working with a government department in every state and territory. There's a government child safety or child protection department that are the legal guardian of that child. And so you're working with a team to raise that child. And that takes humility and it takes understanding that we're all just trying to do our best in the situation, but that can sometimes be quite challenging.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's had to deal with government in any capacity knows that you're dealing with a bureaucracy, aren't you? And things can be frustratingly slow sometimes. But, I mean, that's the biggest challenges. But what sort of training and support does, Fostering Hope provide for families providing their foster care?
Yeah, so we run preparation for fostering devotionals. So we do those online, so people anywhere in Australia can do those. And that's a way of kind of spiritually preparing you for the journey, thinking about who else do you want on your team. We encourage people to think talk to your extended family, talk to someone at your church or in your community who could be a respite carer. From right at the beginning, take other people on the journey so you're not doing it on your own. And we connect at Fostering Hope and ARC, another organisation like ours, connects carers with other carers. So right from the beginning, you have others who've done it before, who have learnt, who have got experience, and you can have that fellowship as you go along in the journey.
Yeah, so just don't do it alone. Huh? And so you've come up with this initiative called Foster Care Sunday. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so what we've found is foster care isn't a decision people just make after one sermon or after hearing me on the radio today. It's often something that people hear about and think about and pray about. And so what we're really encouraging churches to do around Australia is not just do, one sermon or one message on foster care, but annually have a Foster Care Sunday where we have a video that's available on the Foster Care Sunday website. Show the video every year, have a conversation, pray for the carers in your church, in your community, pray for kids in your community needing families, and keeping that as an annual thing on your church calendar. And it can really look different, and in different settings. It can be a celebration morning tea for carers, it can be that prayer, it can be a sermon, whatever works for your context. Yeah,
I love it. And how long have you had Foster Care Sunday going for? Is this the first year or is it the second or third year?
Second year as a national initiative. Fostering Hope was running it prior to that, but it's been really great to come together over the last 2 years with other organisations all around Australia, also with very similar mission and vision as Fostering Hope, and to do this as a collective group for the whole community.
Yeah, and I know it's on the second Sunday of September every year, and that coincides with another important date in the context of children, doesn't it?
So it coincides with National Child Protection Week and then National Foster Carers Week. So it's the secular community, the wider community, talking about the same topic. So it's a great chance for the church to also be doing something at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so is there a national crisis in the shortage of foster carers at the moment?
Yeah, those are the exact words being used. It's a national crisis. We are losing more carers every year than we're able to retain. Nationally, there's organisations or universities, research groups looking at this to try and work out what the problem is and how it can be solved. So there's such an opportunity for the church, for people out there in the community to step into this space and open up our homes.
Yeah, and I'm sorry?
There you go.
Well, I was going to say, so if there is a shortage of carers, what does that look like? How does that impact children?
Yeah, so what it means is a number of things. So children are being left in unsafe situations. Children are being placed in residential care, which is with rostered workers, and those can be children as young as 7. And we know, we close down orphanages and group homes here in Australia because family-based care, putting children in families, leads to the best outcomes. So it's just devastating that now we don't have enough carers and we're having to revert back to that residential style care.
Oh, wow. So it's almost going back in time to when there were orphanages and kids in dormitory type settings where they're just all sort of lumped together with a few carers, huh? Yeah.
And nobody, like if any of us have grown up in a family where you have that parent that's there advocating for you, in group settings you just don't have that, don't have those your people there regardless of what's going on in your life.
Yeah, and I would imagine you're not learning about family by being in a family, and you're not learning to communicate with adults one-on-one and around the dinner table. I can see, the outcomes having a child in a family environment will be so much better than in a, like you said, residential care with lots of other kids and not enough one-on-one time with adults.
Yeah, and we know we don't just need a family till we're 18. We need a family for our whole life, and so if we can set children up in a family, and that family's there for them when they leave home, when they, set up a house or get their first job. We need family. We need family when we have our own kids. So we also want that for all our children.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think one of the main reasons is for the shortage of carers?
Yeah, so research is showing one of the number one reasons is a drop in faith in Australia. So recognising that faith was a reason people became carers. And then the other reasons are things like people not being able to buy their own home, people not having a spare bedroom, both parents working, people delaying having children, improved fertility treatment options. So people who potentially would have looked at foster care to have a family now can have other options. So lots of demographic reasons, as well as just that altruistic faith response of caring for the needy in our community.
Yeah. So really, what is your message to our listeners today, Mary?
I encourage you to think about something you could do for Foster Care Sunday this year. Encourage you to pray about the carers in your community. Pray for a movement across Australia that we can find more than enough carers for every child that needs one. And go on a journey of understanding the needs of your community wherever you are. We also offer free trauma awareness training, which you can access from the Fostering Hope website. And that's a great thing that's free. It's only an hour, and that's for anyone working with children and young people to understand the impacts of unsafe beginnings and how we can care better for all children and young people interacting with our program.
Yeah.
And I think also every child we know is perfectly and wonderfully made, and we have an opportunity to show God's love to them. And just even thinking today, for the rest of the day, what child has God brought across your path, and how can you show love to them?
Yeah, so you see this as a real opportunity for Christians to be able to minister to someone in real need without travelling overseas or going out on the streets on a Friday night, but just being at home and just letting their home become a mission field as they let a child come in from broken circumstances and hopefully find some healing and some wholeness and maybe even find Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if people want to get in touch with you, fostercaresunday.com is your website. That's fostercaresunday.com. The initiative is Foster Care Sunday. We're talking with Mary Blake. She is the Executive Officer at Fostering Hope Australia, based down there in Tasmania. Mary, I want to thank you so much for the amazing work you and your organisation do to help so many kids and families. And we sincerely wish you all the best for Foster Care Sunday, this second Sunday in September this year.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.